Black Men Cry Too is an invitation for men of color to feel safe to unpack their hurt and share their truth. This space was created as an invitation for men of color to feel empowered to know it's okay that they can cry too. I'm Retro Barbie, hashtag bright hair, dark liquor, and I'm here to tell you to take care of your balls. Black Men Cry Too is sponsored by Manscaped. Cat Curveball. For your partners who like to wander down yonder, make sure you head over to manscaped.com and use code BlackMenCryToo, 2 O's. Your partner and your balls will thank you. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Black Men Cry Too. Tonight I have Leno sitting down with me. Thank you so much for sitting with me.
Thank you for having me, Kat. It's truly an honor to be here and, having this critical conversation right now. So thank you.
It's very appreciative. Let's kick it off with a shot.
Let's do it. Cheers. Salud.
Never gets easier, even every time I do this.
That whiskey's something different.
It's very
That's
strong.
different.
To kick it off, I know that you work a lot with the youth and you speak to students a lot. Why is that type of work important for you, and how did you get started?
It's very important to me because when I grew up, I'm from West Philadelphia, inner city Philadelphia. Father suffered from drug addiction. Family members incarcerated, very frequently, and the neighbors in my community, people I looked up to, were in the streets, you know what I'm saying? So that's the things I inspired to be. And, we didn't have no real life role models coming up, you know what I'm saying? And for me, going through different avenues in life, trying this, trying that, it was important for me to change the narrative in my community. And I wanted to, be that pillar in my community. I wanted to, if I wasn't that person, I wanted to strive to be that person that, young kids in Philadelphia, inner city, worldwide, can look at and be like, yo, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm not where they want to be, we come from nothing and make it something. I just wanted to show them that it was possible. Mother deported, grew up in public housing, it's possible. And that's why I thought it was very important for me to just try. Yeah.
That's dope. I think what's powerful is the fact that you said, you want to try and you want to show them that it is possible. But a lot of times what happens within our community is we don't have that strength, so to speak, and we let becoming a product of our community be our message.
Yeah.
What shifted in you that made you realize, I need to try, I need to overcome, I need to exceed?
It was a lot. I'm gonna be honest. It was a lot. It take me back to my 8th grade graduation, where everyone was in some type of institution. Whether rehab, locked up, or something.
As 8th grader.
8th grade. No. I'm talking about my family. I'm talking about graduation. So it came back to that time when it was just like no one came to my 8th grade graduation because someone was somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And damn, I forgot the question, but I was going somewhere with it. What was the question again?
What made you decide to push past and not be a product?
Got you. So my 8th grade graduation, seeing that every person in my family was in some type of institution, right? Whether that's rehab, prison, somewhere, they were there. And then you fast forward on the track I was going, and it took, some friends to get locked up. Some deaths that was close to me to happen. And I'm gonna keep it real. What happened, I went to church Easter Sunday with my homie Dan. This is our first time in church in a long time.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Okay.
We was running wild around my neighborhood, and 23, me and Dan decided, yo, let's go to church. We just was partying the next day, yo, let's go to church. It's Easter Sunday, so every black people, every black person in the world going to church. I was in my Sunday best too. So we went to church, me and Dan. It was so packed in there that they had to go get folding chairs for the Sunday, because everybody there fly.
Here you go to church.
Exactly. So everybody was there, and we was kind of discouraged because we couldn't sit down. And we wanted to sit together because we haven't been in church in a while. So, I sat there Easter Sunday, listened to Dr. Moore preach and everything, and it was just like, I felt like he was talking just like next to me, you know. I just felt the message. I was so compelled, because the things we were doing before, you know, church was like, you know, not what we supposed to be doing. So, you know, going to church, you know, hearing the message, and that's my dog now, Dr. Moore, and like him, that message, whatever he said at that time, it touched me. It was like, yo, we gonna change the narrative of our community. So, you know, my foundation is called Overcame, but we took the O, because I'm from 60th Street, and we call it the O. And I wanted to like change the symbol behind the name, because if you think about the O and what it means around West Philadelphia, mean violence, drugs, and everything. So I took that O and I created Overcame, and you know, we try and do the work in my neighborhood.
That's powerful. I like how you flipped it. So you're like taking something that has a negative stigma and trying to create that positive stigma. That's pretty dope.
Thank you.
When you're speaking to the kids, how do you connect with them? Because they're hard to connect with, and especially these days. Yeah,
I would agree. So I teach too. So I teach marketing to high school now, and I think the biggest thing is just to show them that you're human. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell them like, yo, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I tell them, I be very vulnerable with them. I think the first day, you know, I really just told them about my life. You know, I just told them everything that I've been through, everything that I go through, you know what I'm saying? And I gave them my personal phone number, and I was like, yo, like, and it's crazy because like a lot of my kids call me now and be like, yo, Mr. Chester. It's kind of weird they call me Mr. Chester, but it's like having that connection with them. And I only teach 40 kids, right? So I got
That's still a big amount.
Yeah, but compared to other teachers, they teach like 150, so I got a great deal. Shout out to Dr. Damien, so. But, you know, with that 40 kids, I teach predominantly Black men, right? From 10th grade to 12th grade marketing. So it's really great to like, they can get exposure with marketing. But, you know, me talking to them is like, whether I'm in colleges, talking to, you know, kids at, you know, or high school, it's just highlighting the vulnerability that I had to withstand, right? And it's like, because I feel like my teachers in high school or college, they were superior, right? It was like, they were like, I gotta look up to them, you know? For me, I want them to know that we all peer level, you know, but you gotta respect me, right? But it's peer level with our drama. So I tell them like, yo, Pop was on drugs, you know, my mom was deported, grew up in public housing. I was fucked up coming up, you know what I'm saying? So I'd be very honest with them. So, you know, it's like, damn, Mr. Chester, yo, how do I go through this situation? You know, and a lot of kids don't got, you know, internet right now, right? So it's like, how do we communicate that to the kids? So it's like, it's a very unique skill set that I'm trying to have, right? I'm not an expert in anything, right? I hate when people say they're experts. But what I'm learning is that vulnerability and connection with the trauma, because it's trauma serving inner city kids. So that's the connection I have, is that trauma and that relatability of their story, and it like meshes together. And, you know, I become like their big brother, you know, so yeah.
Are you one of the only Black teachers?
Well, I would say that I'm the only Black teacher like me. Let me talk my shit.
Do what you have to. I'm here for it. The only reason why I ask is a lot of times I can't even name 2 Black professors I had growing up.
Yeah. I would say I am the, well, first of all, I'm in a new school, right? So I don't really know any teachers besides my principal, right? But I know my principal is very, like, she dope. Like, you know, at my other schools that I worked at, you know, they were scared to address the incidents with Breonna Taylor, everyone else, and I was like, yo, this is not the space for me. New principal, she is, whatever she feels, she's going to express, which I really appreciate. So, damn, I lost track. Where was we at?
Black teacher.
So Black teachers, I'm sorry. Like, my mind be going, like, everywhere.
Mine doesn't.
So, Black teachers, I don't really know, but I know that we have a great principal, great leadership from up top, and that trickles down, right? And, you know, at first I was done teaching at my last school, and then, you know, Dr. Damien called me and was like, yo, I got a position for you teaching marketing. you know, and I was like, yo, this is perfect, right? So I think that, you know, we have some black barbers that teach, so I would say we got a great format at our school.
So there's more representation.
Yeah, it's more representation. I mean, it's dominated by whites, of course, but, you know, for our kids that are looking for career technology and CTE, career technology and the entrepreneurship probably, we have a great setup for them, so yeah.
How do you handle having conversations like Breonna Taylor, especially since we recently learned the news of the verdict, with such young students, young black students?
Yeah, so last week we had an assignment, right? So I played we talked about Breonna Taylor's, you know, case, and we like walked through that case. And then the lady that was fired from ESPN, she put a quote up and was like, you know, the people that determined the outcome of the case are elected officials, right? And I used that, and I made my kids market how they would market to African American families to vote, right? So it was like, it was crazy how the assignment worked. And we used, so their example family, I just used the blackest families, like, you know, mom works at UPS, father is a postmail, you know, something like that. Gave them a family, and, you know, they came up with some great ideas, right? So it's like, I stress the importance of voting, and how this election is like really important, right? I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you that, you know, your vote counts, and you know, we need the black vote to vote, right? And yeah, so it is really like critical too, like, you know, just telling them, like, Breonna Taylor was very it was very heartfelt conversations because it was just so fresh, right? And the kids were like, didn't really understand because it's like normal, right? So it's like crazy how normalized this is happening. We got George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, it's just so normal, right? And this happened, it's like, yo, it's the kids like, yo, it's normal, like, this is what happens, and they accept it. So we had to take like 30 minutes to like unaccept this stuff, like unaccept this shit, like, cause this shit is not what's really supposed to happen, right? So it's like, nah, yo, y'all gonna be the future leaders to change it, right? So it's like, y'all gonna be those future lawyers, them future doctors, future politicians and things like that. So it's like important for me to, like, even if marketing is not their thing, so like I'm trying to get them in marketing programs and opportunities, but if marketing is not their thing, they can position themselves with skills and stuff like that. Like, so I bring in guest speakers all the time. Granted, we only been in school for like 3 weeks, but we got a guest speaker coming in. I try to get one guest speaker a week, and it doesn't have to be about marketing. I bring a doctor in. It could tie into marketing, right? Anything can tie into marketing. So it's about representation, and everyone that we do is black, you know, so, you know, we ain't doing that other stuff right now, because we've been taught that all our lives. The books, the textbooks, Christopher Columbus and shit like that. So we keeping everything black in my class.
I like that. I like how you're using like the agenda of what's going on in the world to get them to think differently and understand the importance of these topics. Yeah. And like you said, make it unnormalized. Like, this shouldn't be normalized. And that's typically what has become issues with us, is we carry these traumas, like you had mentioned, and we make them normal because no one teaches us how to unpack. Yeah. So with that, I saw on your Instagram you had talked about, like, we need to do more programming around social justice and mental health. How do you incorporate, like, the mental health aspect with your kids or within the Overcame Project?
So one of the biggest things we did recently, we just did a deal with University of Southern California. And with that deal, we did a conference on mental health, and it was $10, right? And it was, the tickets were free, but we just asked for a $10 donation. If you didn't give the $10, we still wanted you to be a part of the program. But, you know, it's bringing in, you know, normal people day to day and presenting to doctors and deans at the colleges and universities. We have like 572 people register for the conference, and we had like thank you. We had American University sponsor. We had Bowie State University stamp it. We had like, we had a lot of high colleges like, endorse this, this conference, and it's like, yo, I'm just a kid from 60th Street, right? So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's win is like, this shit is possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm regular Joe, making things happen. But mental health is just so important because like what you said earlier, like 30 seconds or 5 minutes ago, was like, we normalize so much. So what I learned in the last few years that my 12-year-old self developed and matured my 12-year-old problems to my 27-year-old self. So my 12-year-old trauma is now 27-year-old trauma, right? So it's like I gotta go back and fix that 12-year-old problem, right? So like I could be more healthier, and I still got a little ways to go. You know what I'm saying? I have problems that, a lot of different problems, right? That, we have like, my mom was deported, I ain't seen my mom in 24 years. That's trauma, right? Flat out trauma. Father suffered from drug addiction. Your mom
is from where?
I'm half Japanese, so my mom from Japan. Pop suffered from drug addiction, seeing him go through his act, that's trauma, right? So it's like you take that trauma and you gotta, something has to happen, right? So you gotta do something to make it normal so you can be able to survive. But it's really not normal, right? So you take that, what you had to develop, to your 27-year-old self, and now you gotta like, hold on, is this what this world is like? Cause like for real, I thought like, I remember when I was probably like 12 years old, I asked my cousin Vern, I'm like, yo, do every black man go to jail? And he like, yeah, like, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so I'm like, damn, I gotta get stronger. So every day he had me doing push-ups, getting ready to go to jail. It's crazy, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So right now, it's just like, we gotta make sure that we have these critical conversations. In my homeroom, we take attendance, but we play a video. Like I play like a 10-minute video about mental health, and then we had the last 20 minutes about conversation. I got some people that really be talking a lot of good stuff, and these is like 10th graders, talking about mental health. So we creating a great space in my class.
I love that.
And in Wilbur King, we creating a great space too. So we just cultivating right now.
It's almost like your mission and your purpose is creating these safe spaces, especially for the youth, to be able to be vulnerable and like learn and see different examples. You had posted on Instagram that I saw that you lived for a while questioning God.
Yeah.
And now you're just questioning like, how do you continue on your purpose?
Yeah.
I feel like for many of us, we've been through, maybe now with 2020 we're still going through the questioning of God, and then some people are able to start questioning, okay, you keep showing me these signs, I think this is the path you want me to go on, let me hone in on my purpose. How are you able to make that switch?
Well, I think like, questioning God is like, it happens very often, right? So it's like, I had to question God, like, why do you have me teaching, right? I'm like, I'm trying to be like this global brand, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you got me?
Speaking it into existence.
Yeah, why you got me here? And what helped me out was just like, I swear to you, like at the boys Latin, oh my bad. After my previous school, I was like, I'm done teaching. Like this is not for me. And then when I got the phone call about this opportunity, it was like, yo, you gotta take it, right? So it was like the pay was way more. And, I had 40 kids, right? And I'm like, what? My day done at 12 o'clock. What? I gotta take that, right? But I think like when we start questioning God, we should have to start questioning our faith, right? And then I had to start thinking like, you got seasons in your life where you have to like build your strength and your endurance, so for the next level. So it's like this level is teaching me what I need right now to get to that next level, right? And then I had to also sit back and like, I'm 27, right? Why am I rushing? Like, why am I rushing? And it comes from the trauma because like when you go back to your 19-year-old self, you like, by 25, I'm gonna be married, I'm gonna have a house, I'm gonna have a car, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have this. But that's really like traumatic experiences, right? Because like you grew up with nothing, so it's like Yeah. Now your pushback to fight the trauma is to like get everything, right? And then when depression happens again is like when we get 25, we don't have those things. And that's where it's like, fuck, what am I supposed to do now? So it's like now me accepting my 20-year-old self, you know, working for two organizations that I highly have love for, and also being an entrepreneur with my Overcame Foundation, and also me speaking. So it's like everything I'm going through is like helping me get to the next level. So I'm teaching like almost a college course, because that one day I want to be like a dean, you know? So it's like one day I want to be a professor, you know what I'm saying? So one day I want to be a president of a college, right? So it's like all these things are helping me for my future, right? So I might not get it when I'm 27, but when I'm 47, we'll get the ball rolling, right? And it's like, why am I rushing? So that's how I answer that. Like, don't question God, because you really should be questioning yourself, like, why am I rushing, you know?
I like that. I like that rephrase of the question, why am I rushing?
Yeah.
Everyone should consider that question.
Yeah.
With that, you speak to a lot of kids, you have your own experience, you're working with your foundation, so you're around the conversation of vulnerability and trauma. How do you unpack that and not carry that with you day to day? Because that could be a lot to like hold on to, especially with kids having your direct cell phone number.
Yeah. You gotta have outlets, and you gotta know what capacity you could take, right? So for me, I just picked up some new things. I play golf now. So like today from like 11 to 2 o'clock, you know, I was just playing golf, right? Just hitting, you know, golf balls in the field, horrible at it, but I'm just sitting there listening to the sounds of nature and just, you know, just listen, like just to disconnect it from the world. And, you know, I think that's really important because, you know, we put so much on ourselves, you know, as humans, and it's like day to day, it's like, you know, if you got your family problems, then you got your work problems, and then you got your own problems, like, so it's like, you know, for me, I'm like, yo, my family, we got some problems that we work on, and I'm like, I feel like I'm the guy for my family, so anything that's an issue, I feel like it come to me, right? So with my kids, I feel like they know me, they could trust me with vulnerability, so they give it to me too. And then it's like my own stuff, like, right? So I'm like, dang, quarantine happened, I put on 20 pounds. Damn, I gotta get in the gym. So now I got my own problems, like, damn, I'm getting a little old, my hairline going back a little bit. You know, I got my own shit. So it's like, you gotta really like, you know, another thing I do, I listen to a lot of gospel music, that get me through. I play golf, you know, I go out a lot, I hang out with my friends, you know, with my mask on, you know. Social distancing, you know, I be at one end of the bar, they be at the other end, you know. And, you know, I have a lot of conversations with my girl about, you know, mental health, and, you know, we have a great space to, like, you know, bounce off ideas and things like that. Yeah.
So how do you feel so comfortable basically being the polar opposite of the figures you saw growing up, with being comfortable and speaking about, hey, I'm not okay today, or hey, we need to do better as a community, or hey, this is why this is important?
Yeah, I just look at what it got, where it got them, you know, and this is like my truth, you know what I'm saying? We all got different reasons and seasons in our life, but I had to do something different to get where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? They had to do something for them to survive. And, you know, I was tired of just surviving, you know. Survival is just like, let me go eat at the Chinese store.
That's a response to trauma too, just living in survival.
Yeah, that's exactly. So it's like some people, we just do it to survive. And, you know, I was doing that for so long. Like, I'm telling you, I was living on my folks, like my neighbor, I made a family in my neighborhood. My neighborhood, like, is family. So I'm sleeping at one person couch, other person floor, you know, one person couch, one person floor. And I had to do something different. And what made me feel empowered to do it is like, well, first thing is like, for me to tell my story, it is actually, this is a form of me healing, you know? So every time I tell it, it's like a notebook and me journaling, right? So that's why I do it, because it helps me cope. And I feel like if I could share my vulnerability, that if I could help one person to you know, understand how I maneuver, it can help that one person. So I'm not trying to save the world. I'm just looking for that one person, you know, to like be like, okay, if he did it, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like, I'm sure, hopefully, you know, with God's work, you know, and God being with me, hope I help one person, you know. And that's really, I'm not trying to save the masses. If I could change one person's life and help them feel empowered, then I did my duty. I hope that answered the question.
It does. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I didn't know you were about to finish it. I was going to say you have like 5 minutes to like it's half an hour.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so.
Thanks for that.
Then I was quick.
Yeah, we can cut that out.
Okay. So the question I'm going to ask afterwards is going to be the 3 songs. Are you getting rock?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
3 songs?
Yeah, so I'm about to ask you, like, I'm going to say thank you so much for sitting down with me. Give me 3 songs that you listen to get you in a mood, out of a mood, whatever that mood is.
Okay.
That's what I'm just going to prep from now.
All right. You ready?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today and sharing your story and healing. I hope this was another page in your journal. And I hope this connects with someone out there today so he can continue living his purpose and his mission. With that, my favorite question.
Okay.
Name 3 songs that you listen to get you in a mood, out of a mood, whatever. Uplift your mood.
Okay. I know people probably like, yo, he gonna put some gospel music on.
That's what I'm thinking in my head. If it's not one of 3, I'm gonna be surprised.
But I'm gonna start off with Pop Smoke, right?
Ooh.
I did something wrong.
I'm a New Yorker.
But I'm always right.
And
That's my shit.
it speaks to my soul. Everyone knows me.
Yo,
Knows how much I love Pop.
I just put Pop Smoke on. That get me out of a mood. Cause that's my shit. Like, I did something wrong, but I'm always right.
Even the weird, like, sing-songy part of it. I only see that in practice.
That's one. Another one is I'm gonna go to my gospel. It's Kirk Franklin, Joy.
Okay.
That's one of mine. That's a classic to me.
That's definitely on my playlist.
And dang, when Jay-Z said 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4, like, any Jay-Z song, feeling it, you know, I'm going for it. But those are my things. I'll say Pop Smoke, I don't know the name of the song. I'm a Thief in the Night. I think it's called Thief in the Night. And the baby on it.
Yeah. I'm going to be embarrassed because I don't know it right now.
Oh, you're not familiar.
Don't make fun of me.
Dang, I kind of want to change my thing.
No, because...
Because then you got to go Nipsey Hussle, like, you know, I'm like...
Okay, so I'll give you 5.
Double Up. Double Up is my favorite song. Victory, like the whole Victory Lap. I'm just gonna say the Victory Lap.
Yeah, you can do a whole project.
Just the Victory Lap. That'll get me through. That'll get me through.
So you said nobody from Philly. I just want to point that out. But whatever. New York is just running these days. Whatever.
My bad.
And lastly, what message would you leave the youth with besides Let's Win?
Wow. Yo, you good. You remember stuff and everything. That was a good catch. You know, besides Let's Win, I would just say, there's strength in vulnerability. I think as men and as women, our strength and what we normalize is, like, if someone dies, right, we're like, she a strong person. We glorify that strength, right? And I think when we look at trauma and things like that, your vulnerability is powerful, and you need to know that. You know, just because you can not cry in front of people and then cry at night, that doesn't make you strong, right? It's strength in vulnerability. It's strength in, crying, right? And it's strength in journaling. It's strength in different health. It's strength in it also going to, therapy. I think that is a big thing. I go to Tracy B. Coates by myself and with my girlfriend. So, strength and vulnerability. Hashtag that.
And then after that, hashtag BlackMenCryToo. And as always, you can follow us on YouTube as well as Instagram at BlackMenCryToo, COO. Thank you for tuning in.